I wish I thought of that after someone's just completed a project. They've just suffered and paid and lived through a renovation and dust and contractors and all that nightmare, and they didn't think of that one thing that would have changed their lives. It's so obvious now. How did you miss it? So today in this video, I'm going to show you how to prevent regret by doing a self-evaluation before you start a project, before you start a renovation. And if you're midway through it, stop and do it now, because there's things you can catch. So let's get to it. In the comments, you can download my client questionnaire, which basically takes you through your needs and your wants, questions you may or may not have thought about, your storage issues, all kinds of stuff that may spark you to think about things that are important to you when you're designing. When it comes to your needs and your wants, they're going to change as you grow, as your kids grow, as you get older, what your goals are for the house. Are you there long term? If this isn't your forever house, you may want to choose different materials and different styles that suit a more broader audience for resale. But if this is your forever home, you may want to splurge on things that are very specific to you. Knowing what your long-term plans are for the space, for your family, all of that is going to help you to design so that your house will grow with you. Now, you may think the self-evaluation is a little bit silly or redundant. You know what you want, you know what you need. But if you really take time to reflect and get all woo-woo with yourself, you're going to get a better result. If you can picture how you imagine your house to feel, to smell, the colors, and you can engineer backwards how to get there. It's scientifically proven that if you can visualize, if you can think of what you want, you are more likely to get it. Make an organized plan for what you want. Think about all the things you could possibly want to include in your new project. And sometimes that's hard. You forget things. Oh yeah, what about the garage? Oh yeah, what about this? This video, I'm going to walk you through my self-evaluation, which I send to new clients. Their needs, their wants, what they like, their routines and their habits, all that kind of stuff that goes into building the perfect plan for your house before we meet, so that they're thinking about it and that we can have a meaningful discussion about what direction the project's going to take, what you want, what's important, all of those things. The more clear you can be, the better chance you have of getting what you want. And you can download it in the description and follow along or do it yourself. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you. First things first, you got to talk about your budget. And you've got to make your budget your friend, because I can tell you as an interior designer, everyone says, oh, wouldn't it be great to have the dream project where you have no budget? It's a nightmare. I've had it. When you have no budget, you have no constraints, you have no time limits, and you have no accountability. You also go over budget and usually don't get what you want. You want to make sure that you have an idea of what things cost. So if you have $80,000 to spend in your kitchen, how are you going to allocate that? Are you going to spend it on a porcelain countertop? Or are you going to save some money and get nicer cabinets? You need to know what your budget is so that you can make smart decisions. When it comes to the budget, most people are a little bit uncomfortable and a little uncertain. Part of the reason is you don't know what things cost. So you need to get out there and find out, what does a stove cost? If you haven't bought one in 10 years, you might be shocked to find out what they're going for these days. So if you have an idea of what things cost, that's going to help you to create a budget that works for you. After you've got a realistic idea of how much money you have to play with,
are you serious?
And you want to start thinking about your site or your job or your project. Where is it? What does it face? Which way does the wind come? Is there privacy issues? What do your windows face? What are your views? What are the best parts of your plot, your lot, your location, your kitchen window? And what are the worst? So that you can design, maximize the best, and to minimize the stuff we don't want to see so much. Walk your property with a tape measure. See where your views are. See where the best place is to put a window so that you can enjoy what nature has to offer. So you can maximize the sunlight and so that you can improve the privacy as well. Here's a secret tip that most people don't think about. Imagine it's January and imagine it's July. The light in your house is going to be different. So think about how it's going to come in the windows, how much light you're going to have, because it's going to change throughout the season. So I know I've got these great front windows in my new house, and the sun's moving, and it's going to be blazing on my desk. When I do the renovation plans, that's going to be one of the considerations I think about. When it comes to your site, you also have to know about local codes, restrictions. If you live in a cooperative or a community, you want to find out what you're allowed to do. And on the inside, you want to find out if you need to hire an architect, if you want to move a wall or raise a ceiling or do something that involves structural work or a permit from the city. If you've designed your house, it's going to reflect who you are. So let's make it the best part of you. Part of this evaluation is doing homework, going to see houses, your friends' houses, open houses, Instagram, Pinterest, wherever you can find inspiration. Keep in mind, those are inspiration photos. Ain't nobody lived like that. When you see a big open concept room that you can see from one end to the other and it's clean, if that's your lifestyle, go for it. The reality of living with an open concept is that it echoes like a bowling alley, and that you have to be really mindful of the kinds of fabric and rugs and ceiling treatment and paint colors in order to make it work. If that's your bag, go for it. But know what you're getting into before you get there. Sometimes what we think we want isn't what we want. Be realistic when you're looking at those photos. Do you have the ceiling height for that? Do you have the views? Do you have the room? Take inspiration from those photos and figure out how you can make it work for your site. Know that your needs are going to change as your kids grow, you change, as you get a different job, as maybe you work from home now. Whatever it may be, if you design a space wisely, it will grow. And if it's not meant to grow, put the for sale sign on, hit the road. When you have a realistic budget and you know what things cost and you know what your site or the job will allow, then you're ready to party. So let's get to it. As you go through the questionnaire, it's going to ask you about your needs, your wants, your wish list, your storage issues, site issues, and style and maintenance concerns. Choose materials based on your willingness to keep them up. Think about your future honeydew list and how willing you are to do work around the house, because some materials are going to require routine maintenance. If it's not in you and it's not in the budget to pay somebody else to do it, maybe a different material would better suit you. A big part of making your home work and flow is knowing your routines and your habits and how you want to improve them. So get specific with your inventory. Who cooks? When do they cook? How often and for how many people? When you're leaving your house or you're returning home? What are the traffic patterns to and from the elevator, the car? How do you get out the front door and find all of your crap? You'll notice there's an entire page devoted to closets. Closets make the world go round. Think about the person and their habits and their routines and their quirks when you design storage for them. Because for me, a walk-in closet is a dream, but if it's behind a closed door, I forget that I own it. So I'm better off with a reach-in closet. Now I want miles of reach-in, but a reach-in closet or a wall closet is better suited to my modifications. In the questionnaire, you'll see some homework about defining your style. And if you have any trouble, go watch my video about how to do just that. Choosing your style or how you want your house to feel is important to the contractor and to the architect as well, because if you want a modern house, it's going to be concrete floors or it's going to be big metal black windows. If you want traditional, it's going to be big thick molding and lots of detail. That's going to affect your bids, the design, and the materials you choose. Finding what you want the house to look and feel like is going to help put all those other pieces together. So go out there, go watch the video, figure out your style, and come back. We got budgeting to do. What would you do differently? That's the number one question you should ask somebody, because you don't want to make their mistakes. Now, before I was an interior designer, I used to clean beach houses in high school. So every time I design something, I'm thinking, how the hell am I getting up there to clean it? If you have dogs, is it smart to get white tile? When you improve your environment, you make yourself 30% more happy. I'm going for those odds.